Hello students, this is P. Srinivas. So in the previous class, we have discussed about the overview of 8051 microcontrollers, where we have discussed about the various features of 8051 microcontrollers, its architecture and pin diagram of the 8051 microcontroller. As you know that this 8051 microcontroller is available with the 40 pin IC. Out of these 40 pins, 32 pins are used for input output. Those pins are port 0 pins, that is pin number 32 37, port 1 pins 1 to 8, port 2 21 28, port 3 and 10 to 17, 10 to 17, and pin 40 is for VCC, pin 20 is ground. So like that already we have discussed about each and every pins of the 8051 microcontroller. Now I am going to talk about the input output ports of 8051 microcontroller in this class. So this 8051 microcontroller has 4 8-bit ports, namely port 0, port 1, port 2, port 3. Each port is associated with a register popularly called SFR in 8086 microprocessor. That is nothing but special function register. Port 0 is associated with a register having address 80H, SFR register with address 80H. Similarly, port 1 is associated with a register having address 90H, 90H. Port 2 is associated with a register having address A0H. Port 3 is associated with a register having address B0H. With the help of each of these ports, 8051 can interact with the external world. That means this 8051 microcontroller can interact with the external devices, that may be input device or output device. So with the help of these 32 IO pins, or we can say that 4 8-bit ports, this 8051 can interact with the external devices. And all these ports are also bit addressable. That means we can set or reset each bit of the port individually. The bit addresses of ports as shown here. So each and every port is having some separate port address. For example, port 0, it is having 8 bits, 8 pins. Port 0 point P0.0 to P0.7. So first P0.0 is having a individual address 80H, P0.1 81H, P0.82 and so on, P0.7 87H. The similar way, P1.0 is having starting with the 90H and so on, P1.7 97H. Like that, P2.0 A0H, so on, P2.7 A7H, P3.0 is B0H, P3.7 is B7H. Now, let us try to understand these ports in more detail by looking at logic diagram of port. Each port and each pin is having its internal devices. So each port or each pin has internally this logic diagram. Each and every pin is having these internal components. So this 8051 port, each port contains three main components. Those are D latch, an output buffer and two tri-state transmit buffers. This one transmit buffer in some board is mentioned as TB1 and this is a TB2. That is D latch, output buffer and two transmit buffers. So let us see how these 8051 ports are managed by this logic diagram. P1 port P1 port 1, port 2, port 3 have this particular logic diagram. But if you talk about the port 0, the internal pull-up registers are not there. So it looks like this. So therefore, these are not having any internal pull-up registers, whereas port 1, port 2, port 3, What is X? X is nothing but maybe 0 to 7, that is 8 bits, P1.0, P1.1 up to P1.7. Similar way. So whenever we see port 1, port 2, port 3, we observe this logic diagram. It contains some internal pull-up resistor, whereas if you talk about port 0, it does not contain any pull-up resistors. Therefore, whenever we talk about or whenever we use port 0, we use external pull-up resistors. We have to use external pull-up resistors. So let us see how we can write onto this latch. So generally, as we know that these IO ports are used to communicate with the external devices, either to read the data or write the data onto the devices. It can read or write. So now let us see how we can write onto the latch. First we will see that one. Writing a 0 to the latch. So the process of writing 0 is very simple. So first we have to write the value of what we want. For example, we want to write 0, so that we have to communicate with the internal CPU bus by writing some program. Through CPU, we can send the data 0 to D, and we have to give a clock input signal. Whenever this clock, there is a clock, then only it will be enabled and this signal is given to Q. As you have discussed about the D flip-flop. So if you are not giving the clock, then this will not be transmitted to the Q. Okay. So first write the value of D latch, write the value to the D latch through internal CPU bus and clocking the signal, this signal. So now what happens, we'll see. So when you write 0, because of this D flip-flop, as you know the truth table, so the Q output becomes 0, and we are having an important feature that there is another output called Q bar, which is the complement of Q. So whenever it becomes 0, automatically the Q bar becomes 1, which drives the output buffer through a internally we are having some MOSFET. So whenever this Q bar is 1, this MOSFET will be turned on. Then whenever it is turned on, so this port pin pull down, so the VCC becomes ground. So the complete it finds the path, so the current flowing through this one and it will be pulling down. Therefore, this particular port, this gets the 0. Okay. Now we'll see writing a 1 to the latch. Writing a 1 to the latch. So when you write a 1 to the D through internal CPU bus, and when you supply some clock pulse, then Q becomes 1 and Q bar becomes 0. Q bar becomes 0. When this Q bar is 0, the internal MOSFET will be turned off, so that this VCC will not find the path. So this will be open circuit. Then the VCC will pull up this what you call it, your port. So this port pin is pulled up to VCC. A similar way, how we are going to read the data. So this previously we have discussed about the writing the data. So when you are going to read the data, that means we are taking the data from the port pin to CPU. Port pin to CPU. So when it is having 1, so automatically when it is high, this MOSFET will be turned off and this 1 will be turning on. So then it will be activate the reading pin. So then this 1 will be transmitted through this transmit buffer, and the same is given applied to the D flip-flop, and that is given to the internal CPU bus, and at the same time whenever it is 1, Q becomes 1 and that will read the same. So like that we can read the data and we can write the data. So almost if you observe these IO ports, so port 1, port 2, port 3 have internal pull-up resistors, and whereas port 0 has no internal pull-up resistor and does not connect to VCC inside the microcontroller 8051. So therefore we need to connect externally by using external pull-up resistors. So we'll see that one. So each pin of the port 0 must be connected with a external pull-up resistors. And if you observe the pin diagram of 8051 microcontroller, so the port 3 is also having some another alternate functions. Whereas port 0 is having only IO ports, whereas port 1 is having only IO pins, and port 0 is having some another that is called as AD0 to AD7, which are having multiplex address data bus, whereas port 2 is having A8 to A15, that is address lines. And in case of port 3, they are also having some alternate functions. So that is pin number 10, which is given as P3.0, that is having another function RxD. RxD means receive data, transmit data, and like that we are having some what you call as INT0, INT1. These are used for interrupts, and T0 and T1, these are for timer interrupts, timer registers, and the pin 16 is used to write the data, and whereas RD bar is read the data. So this is about the IO ports of 8051 microcontroller. In the next class, we will discuss about the memory organization of 8051 microcontroller.